Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Brian Wilson, Long Promised Road. And this new documentary is from Brent Wilson, no relation, and this focuses on musical artist Brian Wilson and one of his colleagues and friends who basically, I don't know why this kept popping up in my head, but I was just imagining like the car karaoke thing. It's a lot of the film is them driving around, going to different places, and reminiscing about his career, his life experiences, and you get to see a very raw look at Brian Wilson and straight from his mouth and him showing the discomfort, talking about some of these harder aspects of his life and some of the trials and tribulations that he's been through in his life with dealing with his serious mental illness and the stress of being a creator and being in the spotlight and, balancing his creative expectations and dreams versus the expectations of the rest of his band, including his family in the Beach Boys. And this film, I really enjoyed those conversations, and it's pretty relaxed. It's just like there's a camera in the car and they're just chatting away. There's a lot of that. You also get to see him in the studio creating, which is always fun. You get to see that creative process going because he is a true genius, and you see that and what he's able to accomplish with that. They have a lot of great musical performances throughout the film, especially his Smile album, which was a really great revelation to see him bringing that to life in the 2000s, all these years later, and he never got to do that when he was still in his youth and everything. This was a big moment to see him perform when he was younger, seeing him perform as he's older, and seeing all of those different things. And then you still get that standard rock doc kind of thing where you have a bunch of other people interviewing, making all these different connections with his work and his perspective and what he was able to do, and some of them have personal relationships. You have Elton John, which he was a great contributor to this film. You have Bruce Springsteen. You even have Nick Jonas. You have Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters, Jacob Dylan for a little bit, and Don Was and Jim James were big ones. It was a big deal in terms of making those connections and seeing them express the influence that Brian Wilson had on their careers and music in general, and seeing this grander perspective on music and from his peers, from his contemporaries, and from people who were influenced by him, and then really getting to see him. And I think that was one of the more special things about this film, were those car rides where you get to just see Brian Wilson talking about his experiences. Sometimes it wasn't at the most depth, sometimes they didn't talk too much about particular things, but you could see the emotion on his face with certain things, and obviously a lot of them are hard things for him to confront. And you get to see that emotion. This didn't really pull punches in that way. Obviously, it was limited to what he felt comfortable talking about, but this film gives a really interesting painted picture of who Brian Wilson is, who he was, and his work. And I think this was a really worthwhile doc. I'm a huge fan of rock docs, so I'm always going to enjoy watching something like this, but I felt this one was very earnest, very moving, and really awesome new perspective, and really getting to see the man himself talk about his own experiences. So definitely give this one a watch. But those are my thoughts on Brian Wilson, Long Promised Road. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.